Hello, so we are live. If you guys notice, the wall behind me is barren and empty, looking pretty sad. But I wanted to make a video to help any new teachers or travelers, backpackers, anybody who is interested in visiting Lào Cai, Sapa, North Vietnam. So 2 years ago, I've been here for about 2 years ago. I've been here for about 2 years. 2 years ago, I remember specifically typing in YouTube, Lao Cai City, Sapa, and there was just no videos whatsoever. Not a single YouTuber who had, done any videos about what this place is like, what to expect, what kind of resources are available to you, the culture, the food options, the shopping, just every little bit of information that somebody would want, especially when you're moving somewhere new, especially if it's your first time going to a different country or teaching. So I am going to start a new series on this channel, which will specifically talk about Lao Cai and Sapa. And each one will just focus on a certain topic. And based off of the community, what you guys find interesting, and obviously any questions you might put into the comments, we can narrow down to more specific topics. So let's start with some of the basics of what Lào Cai is like. So first impressions of what Lào Cai is like. Lào Cai is a border city on China. You have two pizza places that I know of. One called Saigon Pizza, and then there's one right across from it. There is maybe 3 or 4 different kind of coffee houses, and then a whole bunch of just random restaurants that are like in people's houses. So what you'll notice is like people will live above their stores. So like 95% of all the stores and markets and things that you go to are little stores that people have on the first floor of their home, and then they'll live upstairs. So you'll have bakeries that way. You'll have little convenience stores that way, mechanic shops, restaurants. Pretty much that is the majority of what things. There is no WalMarts. There is no shopping centers. Granted, they just opened one. So there's a place called Go, and it is the closest thing that you're gonna get to a Western style kind of like mall. And what it is, it's three stories. The first floor has a Pizza Hut. They actually opened a Pizza Hut, so it is the first Western restaurant to open in this city. I guess I should mention that it just happened after 2 years. But then there's like some kind of buffet and some kind of barbecue. There's an ice cream shop, but they don't have Oreo ice cream. Then there's a whole place that has like 1980s like arcade for like kids. So like kids could like you buy little coins and you could ride things or shoot game. You remember those games when you were a kid when you would like put quarters in and like shoot dinosaurs or shoot the basketball in the hoop. Like they have a whole section dedicated to that. Second story is shopping. There's some jewelry, baby supplies, stuff like that. And then there is a grocery store, and the grocery store compared to what it's been like for the first year and 6 months, yeah, it's nice. I mean, there's actually brand name stuff that you could get. Like if you want to get Jif peanut butter, you can actually get Jif peanut butter or Smucker's jelly. Seafood, live seafood. Beef. They don't have beef, ground beef in the sense of how like an American, like how we have it. But you could get a semi equivalent of it, bomb pork. And yeah, I mean, there's a little clothes aisle, but it's just you're never gonna be comfortable here. So as long as you accept that, as long as you accept that you're never gonna be comfortable and nothing is ever gonna be easy, There's never going to be one place that you could go to just to find that one thing. For example, my computer right now, the fan is going out. It's making this really loud noise. Um, there's no computer store that I could go to. I mean, there's computer repair stores, but these are just people just working out of their homes. Who knows the credibility of them? If you have no Vietnamese friends, if you don't speak any Vietnamese, how easy is it going to be for you to be taken advantage of? And I could tell you a story about when I tried to have my Alienware computer worked on. I took it to a shop, and thankfully I was watching the guy like a hawk, but he tried purposely or accidentally to swap out and forget my i7 processor. Thankfully I was paying attention. I was like, "Hey man, you gotta put my processor back in, or excuse me, my graphics card." But yeah, I mean, there's still a missing bolt that he didn't put in. I mean, these are just self-taught, self-made little businesses, and there's just hundreds of these. Same with pharmacies. There's a pharmacy on every corner, um, and you're just limited on that, and it is a pain. It is a pain. It would be nice just to have one place that you can go to get what you need. You want to get some clothes? Well, you get some clothes. You want to get some shopping at the same time, get some food, that'd be nice. If you want to go to an auto zone and get car supplies, that'd be nice. But they don't have any of that stuff. Um, so, for example, I've been here for 2 years, and the only time I've ever bought new clothes is when I went to Hanoi, because there is no clothes here that fit me. I've even lost 38 pounds. I'm back to being skinny again, right? And yet the clothes still do not fit me. I'm still, a foot on average taller than most of the men here. And shoe size, there's no shoe size. I wear size 12, size 11 and a half sometimes, size 12. No shoe size that fit me. So you'll never find shoes, you'll never find clothes that fit you. So you're just got to accept that you'll have to make Hanoi runs for stuff like that. Entertainment, your entertainment is Sapa. That is it. So if you could not find entertainment in the sense of nature, if you're not somebody like me who could just get on a motorcycle, ride for hours, draw, or just sit alone, I prefer to stay away from people. If you're not that kind of person, then Lào Cai is not going to be for you. There is bars, and you'll see these people celebrating. They'll have these huge long tubes, these huge 3 foot long beer containers, and everybody will be sitting around and they'll be chanting stuff as they drink and getting drunk. And I think beer is disgusting. I think it's very low class, but that's just my opinion. If you're a wine consumer, if you enjoy wine, the best wine that I've found in the city, and I've maybe drink wine twice in a year. The first time I think I might have tried it was here in Vietnam, and it was about 3 million dong, so whatever that is equivalent in U.S. dollars. Do a quick Google search, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, you're never gonna have the best of anything. Movie theater, there is a movie theater, but it randomly plays. The thing is probably 30 years old. It's not even on a projector screen. It's just on a white painted wall. That's not even balanced. But all these things are just part of the charm. All these things are just what makes it special. I talk bad about it, but it's also you adapt to it, and it makes for when you do see things that are really cool. For example, when you see the other day I saw a real car, a car that had the same back louvers like my Mustang. Like seeing that was like seeing the Holy Grail, or if you see 1,000 horsepower, or excuse me, 1,000 cc motorcycle, things like that, you actually get an appreciation for. Or if you actually get a real meal, and et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to dating, I don't know what if you're in your 20s and you're a young teacher and you want to come here and date, I have no advice to give you. Like what you're gonna do, coffee houses. Coffee houses are what the majority of what I imagine people do. Coffee houses, and if you like nature, besides that, there's no bowling alleys. There's no, Dave and Buster's. There's no, romantic strolls through the city square with the horse carriages like in Indianapolis, or riding the trolley through San Francisco. Like, um, it's a world of its own. This is an authentic Vietnamese experience, and Lào Cai is wealthy, but you could drive 5 minutes and you'll be in like pure poverty. I'm talking metal sheds. I'm talking like homes made of just metal, like I've always said, the disparity between the wealth here is just crazy. On one corner, you'll have people driving nice cars, nice homes. In other corners, you'll have people living in shacks. Where I live at is a gated community. I guess it'd be considered, middle class, higher to middle class. So yeah, I mean, you'll live a good quality of life, but you need to be very self-sufficient when it comes to, being able to entertain yourself, being able to live without luxury. When it comes to food, the food choices are horrible if you do not know how to cook. Go back and look at some of the older videos when I first moved here. Just look at my face. How much bigger I was. I got weighed. I'm at like 38 pounds I've lost now in just 1 year and 6 months. I literally eat the same thing. For the first year, it was banh mi, which is, I've talked about it before. Now it's these dumplings. I just don't know what else to cook. There's nothing. I don't even have a microwave. There's no hot pockets. There's no microwavable pizzas. There's no McDonald's to go to. You know what I mean? There's a place called Lotteria, but if you want to wait 30 minutes, you might get the equivalent of some kind of, and that's not even real hamburger meat. Now, granted, if you go to Sapa, now you can get a real hamburger. And after 2 years, I finally realized, where to get a real hamburger at. I went to Sapa, and there's this really wonderful restaurant. Nice beef cheeseburger. Holy cow, was it so good. And french fries. Best meal I've had in a while. Best American meal, I should say. But when it comes to all that stuff, just know. When it comes to schools, here are your options. So if you're a potential teacher, know this. The teachers, the management, not the teachers, excuse me. The Vietnamese top management. So the people, the branch managers, the people who run most of these centers are all, I'm going to say 90% in cahoots with each other, communicate with each other, and they're all pieces of, part of my language, but shit, in my opinion. A lot of them are very corrupt. A lot of them don't really care about you. They'll treat you so nice in the beginning. They'll make you feel like you're the most special thing in the beginning, but all you are is just a dollar sign. And when it comes down to it, and yeah, I might be jaded because of the company that I worked for, but when I did apply for other jobs, I saw some of the same, character traits, some of the same bad habits. Everybody's out for themselves, and so if you're coming here looking for a job that's going to treat you with loyalty, it's going to treat you with respect, you might get lucky. I mean, there is some good spots. But it's good luck, good luck. So I'm going to name off some of the schools that I know of. You have Apex English, which I'm going to warn you, stay away from. It is criminal what Apex has done. Apex should be, I hope they're held accountable in a court of law. I'll just say that. for the things that they've done to people, the lives they destroyed, the families they've hurt. They've hurt me. They've hurt my health, physically hurt my health, like in ways that, I wonder if irreversible damage. Um, there's a place called CVC, so the Canadian Vietnam Learning School. It's one of the more expensive schools here in Vietnam. A place called the Light Academy. It's like a preschool. It goes up to different levels. Pretty expensive. Very nice. I did interview there. Um, they had some, but they talked to Apex, so they've had some ex Apex employees work there before. Who knows who's talking to who? And yeah, you just gotta be careful. Like once your name gets known here, like everybody knows your business. So unless you stay invisible, like what I mean. And the thing is too, like even if you are a good employee, all it takes is one corrupt, lying branch manager to slander your name, and then you're in trouble. Another school I know of, there's a bunch of preschools, things like Baby B or Go or Trump Kids and things like that. But if you're looking for like full time, jobs are gonna give you like vacation days and visas and all that. You're really limited to a few options. There is some good schools though. One called GEL, another one. I don't know if it's good or not. I never got hired with them. I interviewed, but it's called ATN. Yeah, GEL seems like a good school, but it's not the traditional language academy where you like go to one building, go to work, like you travel to different government schools. So as long as you're okay of doing that, and I imagine that's how like most teachers do it, like in places like Hanoi and things, anyways. What else is there? And besides that, I mean, I can't think of really any other schools. So you're very limited on where, and there's no English centers in Sapa that I know of. If there was, I think everybody would move up there to live and work. I actually have ideas about how I would like to start a business in Sapa, live in Sapa. And one of the reasons why it hasn't happened is because of a certain reason, which I do not want to say because I don't want somebody stealing my idea. But I know why an English language center has not opened in Sapa. And the way that I would market mine would address the reasons why there is not. So I'm not going to give away my reasons. Obviously, that'd be like giving away. It'd be like Edison giving away, his idea for the light bulb. So, so job wise, you're very limited. When it comes to the people, great people, very great people. I've been hurt. I've been hurt by some very, very bad people. And sometimes, it's easy to lump it all together. You'll lump a whole city together just because of a few bad people. But along the way, there's been some just wonderful, wonderful, amazing, good people. Very, very hospitable, very honorable, very traditional. The kind of people who feel a sense of like it's their duty. If you're a guest, to try to help you, they'll go above and beyond. There's one family in particular that is doing this for me, which where would I be if not for them? I have another friend. She works in the medical field. Two friends actually, who both took an interest in my well-being, and always giving me advice on how to adapt, how to be more Vietnamese like. And another thing too is if you have a problem with authority, if you have a problem with conformity, if you I can only base it off of I don't talk to a lot of people, so I can only base it off of a few people that I have spoken to, and they don't understand, at least the people that I've spoken to, a lot of them don't understand my way of thinking. And I'm not gonna say that I think like most Americans or most Westerners, because I don't. I know I'm a very unique case. I'm a very when I say unique, I mean like kind of I have my ups and my downs. Like I'm aware I'm not common, for better or worse. So that's both my strength and my weakness. Is that I think in different ways, but I also um, lack the ability to to be to to be part of a community, to be part of a team. I avoid people, I avoid groups. I don't like fake pleasantries, just a lot of stuff like that where it just, if you have trouble with that, a lot of people might mistake that for you being irresponsible or lazy or immature, because in Vietnam it's expected that at a certain age you're supposed to be married and have kids and job focused, and you're supposed to be providing and doing all that. But for me, I can only speak for myself. Like screw that. Like it's my life. I don't want none of that. At least not yet. I want adventure. I want to live a life that, the kind of life people dream about, that, most people never do. And that's what I say to a lot of the haters. A lot of the people who criticize me on some of my shortcomings, on things that I do not do good, that I have struggled at since moving out here. Well, I say to you, are you on the other? I challenge you to travel to the other side of the world. How about you go to America and, see if you could last 2 years. See if you could last 2 days in my shoes, And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, what I mean? Like, I think the fact that I made it to the literally other side of the world, America, Vietnam, it's literally other side of the world, like two sides of the world, and all the steps that it took to get here, I really think speak for the my accomplishments and my achievements. Um, some of the things that I'm not good at, though, um, I had to be careful about what I say. Knowledge is power, so I'm always vague, what I mean? But it's just a lot of people will struggle to understand you. But if you meet the right kind of people, if they're patient enough with you, and if you're patient enough with them, you could get past that cultural difference. Um, and that's another big thing too, is just the cultural difference is really going to be something you're going to have to get used to. Uh, let's just talk about it from an American's perspective of a cultural difference. Night and day, night and day from the way that I perceive things, and a lot of way that I've noticed a lot of Vietnamese colleagues, friends, coworkers, perceive things. I don't understand. I don't understand the way they choose to live, their life. When I say they, I'm referring to, a specific, a small sample group. Maybe like 6 people, that I've got to know, and on a deeper level. I don't understand, the choices and the lives that they are content with. But you could also say the same thing about my own family. My brother Jacob, I love him to death. If you're out there, brother, love you, bro. I'm proud of you, man. You're doing good, looking good. Got the chest hair going out now, but yeah, I've always said, I've never understood, your ability to be happy just staying in Indiana, and you seem to be really happy. You have no desire to leave, and if that makes you happy, then so be it. So if I can't even understand my own family, well, I mean, obviously, you're not going to understand. It's going to be challenging to understand people from across the world. So just the point, another thing to warn you is just the language differences are very hard. Also, get used to, unless you speak Vietnamese, it is very challenging. There is no stores written, that have English, written on it saying this is where you go for bread. This is a bakery. This is a electronic stores. Like everything is in Vietnamese. It's not like Hanoi where it's a mixture of English and Vietnamese. 99% of everything here is in Vietnamese. 99% of the people speak only Vietnamese or will have a very limited understanding of English. Like they might be able to, hi, how are you? It's good to see you. Would you like a coffee? But if you try to like really tell them like, hey, I'm having trouble with this apartment problem. Like, example. Here's a good example. Say there's having a problem with an apartment issue, and I try to describe it. Say the air conditioner is leaking. I think one of the fuse might have broke. Maybe some of the wires have gotten mixed and matched. Stuff like that. Most people won't understand. Granted, some of the younger the generation, more likely they are to speak English. So yeah, get used to that. If you don't speak Vietnamese, you are gonna feel even more alone, and that has been the biggest thing of this 2 years is just like the loneliness. Now, granted, a lot has changed, but there's a lot of loneliness. But that gives you some time for some self introspection. Time to reflect on yourself and maybe grow, learn to be self dependent. And it's weird too, I'm at a point in my life now where I really feel, I feel for the first time in my life vulnerable, scared, like how easily it could be to be homeless, how easily it could be to lose everything, how easily, it's just coming here, choosing to do this came with such a price. I wish in a different video I'll talk more about that. I'll try to keep these videos, 30 minutes long or so. And then, another thing to consider too is your family. It hurts so bad watching your family get older and older and older. And, like I just saw a picture of my family, my dad, that's some gray. My grandma's getting gray. My family's just aging, and I'm not seeing them, and they're gonna be gone one day. And I really hope that this was worth not being in their life. A lot of Vietnamese people believe that no, you should always stay with your family. A lot of Americans believe that, like, no, you should follow your dreams. That's what happiness is, and that's how you honor your family. So it's an interesting contradiction between the Vietnamese idea of where it's your responsibility to support your family. You can't leave your family. Whereas in America, it's expected of you to leave your family. It's your duty to leave your family, to make your own legacy. And you can't do that if you never leave the nest. So that's a huge difference that I noticed, especially if you try dating too. If you try dating a Vietnamese person, they're going to be bound by family. They're going to be, that's going to be a factor, a very strong factor for them. Whereas for you, in your culture, at least is like many Americans, I can't speak for all. I mean, if you're an American, you know it, it's expected of us. You turn 18, 17 sometimes, boom, you're kicked out, you're on your own, and you have to make your own life. And it's actually frowned upon to be staying at your family when you're in your 30s, 40s, and all that stuff. It's another reason why I couldn't really go home. How embarrassing would that be? Even if I was invited to a family to be my age, to so. Those are some things to think about. Those are just some general topics. I think the next video that I make will be specifically about recruiting. So how about that? We'll do a video per week. We'll see how this video does. Look, I've never asked anybody I've never asked anybody to subscribe to my channel. I've never asked people to give likes. But I've noticed that I'm getting really close to the partner program. I am almost halfway there to being able to monetize my channel, which would be something I never imagined. 1,000 subscribers, and I can actually make money doing this, which means that I could actually utilize that money into showing more of Asia, going to Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, showing different parts of Vietnam, buying a better camera, microphone. So I never ask people for subscribers. I've always found that disingenuous. But if you are somebody who has stuck around this long and you wouldn't mind, helping me reach 1,000 subscribers, hey, I would appreciate it. I do plan to eventually evolve this channel into a professional quality. It's just, you just got to get there. Look back at people like Philip DeFranco or Jeremy Johns or some of the Equals 3 or some of the, the older guys, and look at their older videos. It's kind of like this, just a basic camera, basic talk, beyond the trailer. And then now look at them, they got production, movie production level equipment, editing skills. Everybody starts somewhere. But somehow, my passion, my hobby got me almost to 400 subscribers. So, but yeah, point is if you enjoy the content and if you would like to help me succeed and grow in this channel, helping people who want to teach in Vietnam, help people learn about Lào Cai and Sapa, please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. And next week, I will do a video on the